Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this hair bow mum from start to finish. The 2.5-inch width ribbon, and I cut about 54 inches of ribbon, which was a little too much, but that's okay. I'd rather have a little too much than not enough. I have removed the wires. It's just going to make it easier for me on a hair bow mum. If this was for a wreath or something, I would have left the wires in, but for the hair bows, I want to take that out. And I just wrap the ribbons just like this. Make sure that the pretty side is always on top. And I use this mat that I got from Dollar Tree, and I love that for my hair bow mums. It's perfect, the perfect width, which is 6 inches. And then I know at 3 inches it's my center. Now you can see one of my tails is going to be much longer, and I'll show you a quick fix for that. And I would just put those scissors there just to hold it down so it wouldn't come unraveled. So just take it one strand or one loop at a time and just slowly move those over. Just keep rotating it like this, and then you'll end up with your tails the same, exactly the same. Now I don't cut the exact same length on the ribbons for each hair bow mum. I use this mat as my guide on how much ribbon I need. So I just measured the length for you guys for the video purposes. That is not an exact, so don't get mad at me if you're too short or too long. Use your best judgment. That is just a guide. Now I'm at the 3-inch mark, and I'm just going to pinch and keep working my way all the way down the bow. But don't overlap those ribbons any more than what they already are. You want those loops to be spaced out. Like you want to be able to see each of those loops on each side. So this is a pinwheel. It needs to be almost circular in style. And then I'm just taking a cable tie or zip tie, whatever you want to call it, and securing the center. It's just the easiest way. You can tie string, or you can use thread and needle, which is what I used to use, but the zip ties are just so much easier and they're nice and secure. And that's not going to be the only thing I wrap around the center, so it holds it in place. And you can not tighten it all the way at first, which is what I do if I'm using like grosgrain ribbon or a thicker ribbon. I don't pull it completely tight at first, and then I make sure that all my loops and everything in my tails are exactly where I want them. I make any adjustments, and then I pull it completely tight. But this is a thinner wired ribbon. I don't know what, it's polyester, but it's really easy to work with, so I didn't have any issues with it. It's going to be like the easiest ribbon to work with. The only issue, the only difficult part is taking the wires out. If you don't want to take the wires out, you don't have to. Just keep in mind that every time it gets bumped or touched, those loops are going to get misshapen, and they're going to stay that way with the wires in them. You see how it's almost a perfect circle. That's, a pinwheel. So that's the style. That's the style I love for hair bow mums. I wish I came up with that style. I did not. I don't remember who it was. I've seen them on Pinterest, and I think they have an Etsy shop as well. This is a 4-inch French clip. I got them off Amazon. I had to special order them. I love the French clips from Hobby Lobby. They're nice. They're thick. They're really well made, but they're only 3 inches wide. So I really like my hair bow mums to be wide, like where the ribbon streamers are and stuff. And I just couldn't get them as wide as I wanted to with the 3-inch clips. Now, if you're making them for even younger little girls, the 3 inches are still, really good for them, because you want to make it a little bit smaller. So it's really up to you. And hopefully I have put those in my Amazon shop under like crafting supplies or homecoming mum supplies. I should have, but I don't always get everything in there. And I like to wait until I've tried things before I actually put them in my Amazon shop. Now there's 2 ways to do these streamers. You can do it the way I'm doing it here, where you glue the ribbons together and then attach them to the French clip, or you can attach each ribbon individually to the French clip. I actually do it both ways. It's just honestly what mood I'm in. Plus, I like showing multiple ways of doing things, so you've got different options and you can find, what works better for you, and you may even come up with another option that you like better. Now, these hair bow mums have been really, really popular on my Etsy shop the last 3 years. People love them. You don't have to pin anything on or wear anything around your neck, especially for the younger girl. Elementary age girls really, really love them. You can just put them up in their hair and not worry about, a mum anywhere else on them. It's just much easier. And then I also get people that order them for other things, like for a school bow, especially for the kids that have to wear like school uniforms. So something that goes with their uniform. And I'm sorry, I didn't say this is either luster or acetate ribbon. Either one works. If it's for like a school bow, or like I've had them before for it wasn't 4-H, I can't think what it was for, but it was for like team stuff, and she was going to wear it over and over again. So if they're going to wear it more than on homecoming, they're going to wear it over and over, I suggest using non-creasable ribbons, because it's going to hold up longer. So use grosgrain ribbons, use soft satin ribbons, use wired ribbons like this. And of course I'm taking the wires out because I want the streamers to lay naturally. And if you don't take those wires out, then the ribbons are not going to lay naturally. That's why I do that. And it does add an extra step, but I just like the results better, so it's fine. When you like the results better, you need to do that extra step. If you don't care, if it doesn't bother you, then do it your way. My way is not the right way. It's not the wrong way either. It's just my way. And so I want people to always remember that. Just because I do something a certain way does not mean that you have to do it that way, or that I'm saying that if you don't do it that way, that it's the wrong way. I'm not saying that at all. I do what works for me. When I see new ideas or tips from other people, especially like Connie at the Southern Cottage, I'll see things that tips that she does, and I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Why wasn't I doing it that way? And try it, and if you like it that way, then change the way you're doing it. If you like your way, then continue doing it your way. Do not feel like you have to do something my way or somebody else's way because that's the way they're doing it. If you hear somebody that's been making mums for 30 years and they're like, you're doing that wrong, you need to do it this way, that's not okay. Do it your way. Do what works for you. If you get great results, if people love your mums, if you like the way it turns out, then keep doing it that way. And don't worry about what other people say. So what I'm doing here is, I cut a bunch of ribbons. These are 8 inches long. That's about the length that I like for my ribbon streamers on these bows. You can go longer, or you could go a little bit shorter. I wouldn't go too much shorter than that. But I cut a bunch of different ribbons, different sizes, and I just lay them out and I move them around to see what I like. Now on my hair bow mums, I give them 2 ribbons that have vinyl on it. So one for their name, and usually the other one is for their mascot. If they were like a senior or something and they wanted senior, it can't be too much because like I said, these are 8 inches long. But you won't see all the 8 inches either because of the bow, the top part. So, you've got to be careful about what you can put on these. But that's the style I do. They really like having the name on there and, a mascot. But that can make it a little bit more difficult. If you were just putting different ribbons and fun stuff on there, it would be easier to make. I can't explain why too much, like why it makes it harder. It just does, because I have to work around. See those 2 orange ribbons? That's what's going to have the vinyl on them. And I have to work around those. I can't cover those up. They have to show almost completely because the name and the mascot is going to be the major focal point. So I have to move all those other ribbons around those 2 ribbons. And it just, sometimes I like the look until I try to add those, and then I have to move everything all around, and it can get frustrating sometimes, but that's what the style I went with, and that's what people love. They want the names on there, so I have to do it, that way, and sometimes it causes a lot of frustration, but that's just the way it is. So think about that before you make hair bow mums, especially if you're selling them. You know, what kind of frustration do you want to put on yourself? Do you want to put names on it? Or do you want to do, you may find a different way to do your names or mascot, or just offer one ribbon with name and nothing else. Or, no names whatsoever, which would make it easier. You could just add fun stuff, fun ribbons. Keep in mind too, if you add a bunch of layers, it's going to get heavier and heavier. This is being worn on their head. You don't want to weigh this down and make it too heavy, or it's just going to be pulling on their head. It's going to cause headaches, especially if it's for younger girls. They're going to complain. So that's one of the reasons why I like to add the acetate or luster ribbons in the background, because they're lightweight. Then I use some other homecoming mum ribbons like the ice crunch ribbons. You can use honeycomb. I've used those. The diamond dust, the ones that look kind of whitish, silverish, those are actually silver diamond dust. So I know it's not always easy on the camera to see what I'm working with. And then I've got some other glitter ribbons, which are not heavy, but these add up. So the more you add, the heavier they get. So if you're making one that's not for homecoming and you're using a lot of grosgrain, be very, very careful, because grosgrain is thick and it gets heavy very, very quickly. So please keep that in mind, especially the age of the girl. Keep that in mind. So if you are making one with grosgrain, maybe not make it as wide. That's going to help, not have as many ribbons. Maybe not make it as long. Do a different style. Make the top bow even smaller too. Just keep that kind of stuff in mind when making it. So now I've got it figured out how I want to do them, and then of course once I start gluing them, they don't glue on there exactly as I had them laid out, but it's pretty close, and I get a general idea of how I want to attach them. So I don't start gluing stuff, especially these little ribbons, until I know how I want them on there. And sometimes I end up not using all the ribbons I cut. That's okay too. It just happens. So again, I'm kind of moving them around, and a lot of them will get covered up. You've got all these pretty ribbons. That right there is the diamond dust. What I just showed was that when I put the hot glue on there, it just curled the diamond dust ribbon up because the hot glue was so hot. So you got to be careful about that. And there are my ribbons for the name and the mascot. I'm waiting on those too. So another tip for you, depending on how you're attaching their names, if you have to attach their names sideways, if they have a long name, I now attach them sideways, even though I hate that. I want them vertical. But if they have more than like 5 letters to their name, you really have to do it sideways to get their name big. Otherwise, you got to do it really small. And I've done that in the past. I'm just not happy with it. So this year, I started attaching the names or the mascot sideways if the word was like longer than 5 or 6 letters. It just looks so much better. It really does. But if you have to do them sideways, I guess horizontal is the right term, then I use transfer tape and attach the vinyl all in one piece on the ribbon. So it's better to attach it to the ribbon, attach the vinyl to the ribbon, and then attach the ribbon to the mum. But if you are attaching the stickers, the vinyl, whatever, the letters individually, going vertically, then you can go ahead and have the whole mum made and then attach the vinyl, which is my preference, because you have a better idea of where you can put the stickers, where every one of them is seen. But I do it both ways. It just, like I said, it just depends on which direction I have to attach the vinyl. So this is my process for attaching these streamers. This video, I did not speed up a lot of sections, just barely sped up a few sections, because in a lot of my past videos I will speed up. I'll show a few things and then I'll speed up when it gets repetitive, so you don't have to sit through a lot of that. But I really wanted to do one that was more at where I didn't over edit, where I didn't have to edit out a lot of stuff. where you guys can actually see the process that I'm going through. Like normally I would edit out a lot of this where I'm overly, keep adding ribbons or keep, holding ribbons up and seeing if I like it there. Is that perfect there? But I want you guys to really see the process of me attaching these. Like I really take my time. I really make sure this is exactly where I want this ribbon, and then this ribbon, and then this ribbon. I really, really take my time with that. I'm not just slapping them on there. So I wanted you guys to actually see that, see a longer version, real-time version. So there's not a lot that I edited out, just like a lot of blank space. There's a few little parts where I sped up just a little bit, but for the most part, you're getting a long video that really shows the links I go to make the mum. And so I hope you enjoy that. I probably won't talk through the whole video because that's 35 minutes long. That's a lot of talking. But I will try to add some music later in these blank spaces, but if I can't, please understand that. If you're enjoying this video, and I hope you are, please consider giving it a thumbs up. That really helps me out, and it helps in YouTube search or in recommendations. YouTube will show this video more and more, so I'd really appreciate that thumbs up. You can also share this on other social media. You can share it with other individuals however you can. So if you're on other social media, you can share it that way. You can email it to people. You can just word of mouth say, hey, check out this YouTube channel. That helps me grow, and I really appreciate it. I also want to give a shout out to all my members. Whatever level of membership you are, I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate each and every one of my subscribers. If you comment, which I love the comments, I love hearing what you're working on, what you're having issues with, because that helps me with like future videos and lives if I know what y'all are struggling with. But please don't get angry with me if you're frustrated or something's not working or you're not finding a video or the instruction that you're needing on whatever it is you're working on. Please don't take that out on me. I'm making the best videos I can. I'm putting out the best videos I can. I'm trying to show everything that I know. I try to teach just about everything that I know with these videos, so please show some kindness and compassion in your comments. If you're rude or volatile or angry or just mean, I will block you, unfortunately. It's just better for my overall mental health to do that. But I do appreciate all of my supporters, whether you're a subscriber or a member. I appreciate each and every one of you. I love you. Thank you for supporting me and helping me grow. And I hope that if this is the off season, I hope you have a wonderful homecoming season. And if this is during homecoming, I hope you are having a wonderful homecoming season. And you can see I attached all those ribbon streamers. I'm making sure that I've got plenty of glue around that French clip so it does not come off and it's nice and secure. And here is one of the ribbons. I already attached the vinyl on this one. That's the one with her name. And here's some transfer tape. So here is the mascot, and this is how I did it. I think most people know how to use transfer tape with vinyl, but there are a few people that do not, not a few, there's still a lot of people that don't have crickets or silhouettes or stuff like that. And so, if you do eventually are able to purchase one, this is how I attach the ribbons. This is how you use transfer tape. And and for everybody else that's not done vinyl a lot on the ribbons or cut their own stickers, this is how I attach them to the ribbons. And you can see I attach the names towards the bottom of the ribbon because I want to make sure that the bow is not covering up the names. And then it's Bobcats and Evelina, I guess is how you say her name. So when you got a longer name, you've got to do the names like this for them to look better. Now I'm going to attach those, and I will hold the bow up too just to make sure that it's not covering up the names, and kind of adjust them. And sometimes I'll rotate the bow different ways, like which one looks better on top, or which direction doesn't cover up the names as much. And then you also have to remember, like when you're holding it up, you're going to be able to see more of the name too, like when it's being worn, because it's not going to be flat on a table like this. And I needed to trim off those tails just a little bit because they were covering up too much. And what I'm doing with the lighter there is just tapping the corners of that ribbon. I do not want to, first of all, that's the only part that's going to fray is where the wires were. Because the material that ribbon is, it's not going to fray. And it would actually melt if I touched it with the lighter, so I don't want to do that. Now I'm ready to attach these ribbons. And I make sure I attach these down enough where the names are being seen. And it's okay if they're a little bit longer than the other ribbons as well. They are the focal point. They are the most important part. I see, I'm kind of holding it up like it would be worn. You can see it's going to be kind of curved a little bit on somebody's head. So you've got to kind of hold it up or picture it, you know, being worn. Like I said, it's not going to be worn flat on a table. So keep that in mind with any mum that you make. Keep in mind how it's going to be worn, and that's how the ribbons are going to lay and how it's going to be seen. So don't make it perfect on the table, flat on the table. Make it perfect for however it's going to be worn. Now I'm attaching a few bells. I always add some bells to these. They don't get a lot of, you know, little trinkets and stuff because, again, that's going to weigh it down. Plus, there's not a lot of space to work with. So I'll put anywhere from 1 to 3 bells on a hair bow mum. And usually little bells, and then just different fun ribbons. This is a twine. This is actually from Dollar Tree in either the Halloween or the fall section. It's like an orange and white twine, which I love twine for hanging trinkets and bells on any mum. I just think it's fun, it's easy to use, it's cheap. Who doesn't love that? It's a money saver. And it looks good. So as long as it looks good, doesn't matter how much it costs. And then one more bell. See, I'm doing 3 on this one and doing them all on the same string, and that's going to go in the center. I try not to attach like bells on the ends of the ribbons. I mean, when I say ends, not the bottom, I mean like right or left ends of the hair bow mum, because think about that, the way it's worn and their head moving. Would you want that bell, like if I had put it on the right side, those bells would be, every time she moved her head, those bells would be slinging and whopping her in the face or in the ear or maybe even in the eye. So I always do the bells, if I have them dangling like that, almost always in the center or close to the center. Sometimes I'll make a little accent bow and put the bell in the middle of that accent bow and then glue that bow like where I'm gluing about to glue that trinket, like something kind of like that. Still not all the way over to the edge, but that's not dangling really. It's, you know, it's part of the ribbons, it's glued on the ribbons, so it's not going to be dangerous. But I mean, you got to think about stuff like that. Like, how is it going to be worn? You know, is that going to be comfortable? Is that going to be hurting them in any way? You know, I try to think about all that kind of stuff. It's not just about the design and making it look good. You've got to make it where they can wear it, you know, and try to make it as comfortable as possible. And then I also have some stickers with some paw prints, so I wanted to add a few paw print stickers. And this is going to be hard to see on the video. So again, that's the silver diamond dust ribbon, and I'm attaching white vinyl paw prints. And that's not going to be like stand out where you can really see it, but when you're up close to it, you'll be like, oh, that's paw prints on there. So it's just like a little hidden gem on there. You could do orange vinyl and make them stand out. I have done vinyl. I did do vinyl on the diamond dust a couple of times this year, and from what I understand, nobody had any issues with it coming off. I was a little, you know, concerned about that. So I didn't want it to, that's another reason for doing white, you know, in case one of them fell off or something, they probably wouldn't notice it. So it's just kind of an experiment this year. And again, I use all different kinds of ribbons from various stores. I'm sorry I didn't say the vinyl. I used a lot of Cricut Smart Vinyl this year. It's just easier for me. I've got a Cricut Maker 3 that I got during the spring, and it uses any kind of vinyl, but the Smart Vinyl, I love it. I know a lot of people don't. They don't like the cost, which I got it from Amazon at really good prices. But you don't have to use a mat with Smart Vinyl, and I love that because I make so many stickers and stuff, and having to keep cleaning mats and then re-sticky them. I spent so much time last year doing that, the last few years actually. So it was nice to not have to worry about that when I did vinyl. So I got the shimmer Smart Vinyl in silver and gold, and then I got the permanent vinyl in white, black, and a couple of other colors. The colors don't always match up perfectly, or even like sometimes not even closely to the color of your mum. So I really like to stick with black, white, silver, and gold. And so if you are wondering about, if you're starting your mum business and you're wondering about what colors, stick with the basic colors. That's what you're going to end up using mostly anyway. So now I'm gluing the ribbon streamers on. And it's just easier to do it from the back side like that, the back of the bow. Make sure that I've got it exactly where I want it. And then I kind of had to twist the bow a little bit because I had the bow a little sideways. So make sure you do that while the glue is still hot. And then you have to press it on, the French clip all the way around the back. There, I'm getting in there in the loop. I'm putting my finger inside the loop and making sure that the French clip is glued all the way across. You want that bow glued on there all the way across, not just like in the center. And you have to put your fingers in there in the loops to get that, since the French clips are curved. So that's the only way you can get it to glue all the way across. So just be careful, don't burn yourself. Okay, I know I said I wasn't going to talk through this whole video, and look at me, I'm talking through this whole video. We're 27 minutes in, only have 8 minutes left to go. So it looks like I may be talking through the whole thing, and that's why my voice is scratchy. I can't do too much talking. My voice gets really scratchy and sore. So I do add some extra glue across the top there of the French clip. I want to make sure that it's nice and secure. Don't want it coming apart. Now for some bling, and you could do this before you attach the bow to the ribbon streamers. If you're doing bling on the ribbon streamers, this is the diamond mesh, which comes in different shapes. A lot of times I just glue it afterwards, but I'm also gluing this to the center of the bow. I'm kind of blinging up the center of the bow and just covering up that orange ribbon. Now that orange ribbon in the center, that was a grosgrain. I'm sorry I didn't say that as well. I get carried away talking sometimes and forget to instruct you on what I'm doing. So I apologize for that. But you could use just any solid ribbon for the center there. You want to cover up that zip tie. And I never measure that. I just eyeball it. So most of the time I cut it a little too long, and that's fine for me. You can figure out exactly how long you need them and keep that in mind, and always cut it that size. I just always wing it, so I don't worry about it. And then I usually do some kind of diamond mesh strand coming down on the ribbon streamers as well, just to add a little touch of bling. And this wonderful tip here I got from Connie at the Southern Cottage. If you've never worked with diamond mesh, you can cut it in different ways, but it'll have these little strings sticking out. And I used to take the time to trim those off with the scissors, and it was really difficult and a pain in the butt. And she takes a lighter along the sides and just heats those so they shrink. Never thought of that. So much faster, so much easier. So see, I'm just and I'm going to glue that as high up as I can. And like I said, you can do this beforehand. It's just the way I do it. Again, my way is not the right way. It's just my way. Now you do have to be careful. You see how it curled? If you add too much heat, it'll curl the diamond mesh, especially on these really thin ones. I also have the flower shape, and then I have some rectangular shaped ones and just different shaped ones. I think I have some square ones too. So I like to use different ones on different mums so they don't all look the same. But you can find this anywhere, any craft store. A lot of times you can find it at Dollar Tree, and it's fine. Buy it wherever you want to buy it. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the flower shape as well. And seeing how long I need to make it. And these have strings on the sides too. But sometimes they're not as bad about showing the strings. Sometimes they'll be bad and you'll want to kind of cover that up or use the lighter as well on those. That's what I'm trying to say. And I just usually glue like the first 2 or 3 flowers and then press those down on the ribbons and let the rest of it dangle. If you glued all that down, then it would be awkward and stiff, so don't do that. Now this button is going in on the bow itself. You know, I tried it on, I'm sorry, again, I know, I realized I missed something and I showed you something that didn't work out. So a lot of these hair bow mums, I put one of these little buttons in the middle with the Chanel stem. I love doing that. I think it looks really cute, but for some reason on this one, it just did not look good. So I cut the back of the button off, and then I'm gluing it just to the mum off to the side, which looked cute. And I used art glitter glue and hot glue. The art glitter glue is going to be a permanent glue and hold it on there much longer. The hot glue is going to glue it quickly until that art glitter sets. So I like to use both glues if I'm doing something like that. And I'm just adding a few more stickers, paw print stickers. This is my favorite paw print with a claw paw print. It comes off in one piece and I love that. Makes it so much easier. Now I'm going to do some in the silver shimmer. And you see, you still have another paw print. So with these stickers too, not only did that one come off in one whole piece, but then you're left with another paw, which you would have to use transfer tape on it. But for each sticker, you get 2 paw prints. So I love that. So on some mums, I'll use both the outer trim that this is right here that I'm pressing on, and then the one you can see at the top that's still on the page. So on a lot of mums, I'll use both. Some mums, I'll just use one. And I do love when I can put a paw print sticker on a hair bow mum. It just looks super, super cute. It doesn't stand out as much on the chevron, but I still wanted to get those paw prints on there for. And you know, that ribbon, I wasn't sure if the stickers were going to stay on it real well either. I'm just moving around, seeing where I like it best. Each one is different. You know, even when I make some that are matchy, like when I do stickers on the bow itself, 9 out of 10 times the stickers are in different places because they just work differently. These are handmade. Each bow is going to come out slightly different, so the sticker is not going to look good on the exact same spot in every bow. So people have to know when they order, you know, multiple bows that they're not going to be identical, because I'm not a machine, I'm an individual. I hand make these things. They're not going to be exactly the same. Just pressing those on. That is permanent vinyl, but that does not mean that it's going to stay on there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please do that. Don't forget to tap that bell for notifications on my uploads, live streams, and premieres. I upload new videos just about every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Click this link right here to subscribe to my channel. Here is my most recent upload. Here is a playlist I think you will enjoy, and here is one more video. click on this link to subscribe to my channel. Here is my most recent upload. Here is a playlist full of wonderful videos I think you will enjoy, and here is one more video I hope you like. Have a wonderful day.